Welcome to Love This For Us, a podcast with your host, Mackenzie
Oaks.
Oh, I thought you were saying Elana.
Right. No, right. I was saying your host, Mackenzie Oaks.
Your host, Mackenzie Oaks.
Right.
It rhymes. Meant to be.
And I'm nobody.
Right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. We're super excited for this. This is the very first episode. We're just sitting here. My cats are locked up in my room.
If you hear a meow here or there, it's really Mackenzie. She'll say it's her cats. But is it? I don't know.
They're fine. They have food, water, litter box, all good to go. They're just being dramatic, you know?
Do you want to tell the folks listening to this, Mackenzie, just bold and beautiful, what the name of this podcast is?
The name of this podcast is Love This For Us. Elana, would you like to explain the meaning behind that?
I would love to. And Nelson, if you can hear Nelson chiming in, that's your cat. His hands are literally under the door. I wish you could see it, but you can't. So I'll just have to explain it. Love This For Us. I love the name of this, and actually a lot of our friends had conflicting opinions on the name, but I'm gonna give you the short story of it. I'm known for having a saying of saying, love that for you. Mm-hmm. And I don't own that saying. I'm sure I would get a lot of heat if I said I owned it. A lot of people say that, but that's really been my thing among my friend group, saying, love that for you. And it's really, I give it with a lot of attitude, I think. I think it almost just carries a story of itself. But from that, I always said, love that for you. And that's why people thought that's what this podcast should be called. But then my mom, actually, I told her, I said, Mackenzie and I are kind of brainstorming a podcast. We've given it a lot of thought. Here's what it's about. And she said, why don't you call it Love This For Us? Because it's the two of you. And it was so cute. And I ran it to Mackenzie, and she loved it. So Love This For Us, like us meaning not just me and Mackenzie, us meaning everyone who listens. Mm-hmm. It is, we love this podcast for all of us.
And I love that your mom named it. It's so special.
She's a queen. She's a queen to all of us.
We love her. Awesome. So kind of the theme for this episode is influencer couples. But before we get into that, just a little disclaimer. These are our own opinions.
Right.
Do not reflect those of our employer. All that good stuff. Just, your basic.
Friends, family. Yeah. I think my family would really throw hands on some of my opinions on influencer couples.
Right.
But I also, I do want to give a top line on it all. Like, Love This For Us is going to be something that encompasses so much of like the digital industry.
Right.
Mackenzie and I have specialties in different parts of the industry, and we just always, thought there's so many different aspects to talk about, so many different examples to give. Let's just, have a different episode for a different topic. And there's so many coming down the pike, brand partnerships, people's merch, their books, their tours, like just all of our thoughts on so much, because there's so much to talk about. But today's is solely on influencer couples. But before we jump all the way into that, I love how our intros are so long.
I know. Bear with us.
Before we jump all the way into it, I think, Mac, you should give a quick little, who are you? Give us a couple facts.
Yeah.
Let the viewers relate.
I have three good old facts. Yeah.
Listeners.
Are you viewing us? No. So I have 3 facts that I lined up. A little bit about me. So the first fact is that I did competitive gymnastics for 12 years.
Wow, she's very flexible.
Not so much anymore. I quit when I was like 15 or something.
Devastating.
So devastating. But, I'm always so excited for the Olympics. I love...
Next year.
I went to UCLA's gymnastics competition one time, and I was living my best life. So I just love it. Second fact is that I'm a fan of many things. Concerts, specifically K-pop and
Loves
Niall
K-pop.
Horan.
Right. Big for you.
I've seen Niall 15 times on
Some
his own.
would say a major fan.
Right. Traveled to see him. It's a whole thing. If you're listening, you know what to do.
If you're listening, you know what to do.
I'm sure he wants to know about influencer couples. I mean, come on.
He was a part of one.
Ooh, tea. So the third thing is that I have 2 adorable cats.
That the listeners, not viewers, listeners, will hear at some point.
Correct. I can see Nelson's paws sticking out from under the door, meaning he wants to be a part of this. And there's a very rude motorcycle, but it's fine. Yeah, Charlie and Nelson. Charlie is just the sweetest girl ever. And then, I'm sorry.
She's great. Your kids are great.
That's what I thought. Nelson, also sweet, a little sassy, but they're the loves of my life, and they're such cute siblings. Yeah, that's a little bit about me. Do you have any facts, Elana?
You know, I would give you facts, but honestly, my mind I just can't slow it down to even think about facts because all I can think about today is that Jake and Tana are getting married.
What a segue.
I can't. I know I should have been smoother. There's a world where people are like, oh, Elana, we want to know about you. I just can't do it right now because Jake and Tana literally are getting married right now in Vegas.
Okay, so I don't really know much about it. So can you explain, like, I know they sent out invites. Is it real? Like, what is this?
Okay, well, for Jake and Tana listening, hey guys, how are you? We love you so much. Honestly, I think it's real. I'm going to get a lot of flack for that. I think it's real. I believe them. I think they're awesome people. All I want to say is that I think it's the event of the year, you know?
Right.
Like, it's a Sunday, end of July. They got engaged. I'm going to go ahead and venture like a month ago, maybe less.
A sponsored engagement, might I say?
See?
She's giving me looks.
And you heard looks. Don't get controversial on here, Mackenzie. It's not worth it.
I mean, but let's talk about it for a little bit because there was that whole thing going around where there was this this couple that sent out a deck about a proposal, and they were sending it out to brands to look for sponsorships.
Right.
What are your opinions on that? Like, especially coming from you and where you work and like what you do.
Right.
What do you think of that?
Sponsored engagements?
Yeah.
Okay, I see both sides, right? I think there's something to be said of how nice if the guy knows that he's going to engage, get engaged or propose, and assumes that the gal will say yes, and saying, hey, you know, maybe it's a money play, right? Like, hey, I really want to get her a wonderful ring. I can't afford it with the typical. I want XYZ. I want to go on record and say I'm talking about this not in the Jake Tana scenario.
Yeah.
It's different. And I think there's something that could be really cool, right? And also I think so many viewers want to feel relatable. So let's say it was for a certain jeweler or something like that, you know, maybe their viewers would want to have a ring like the one that they got or something like that. So I get that side. And I think that's huge, right? For when it comes to marketing, like what a huge occasion. In reality, you should only have one of those forever. So I think that's really cool. However, I do see the other side where if it is planned to such a degree and the sentiment isn't to have such a special moment, just to share with fans and be a part, if it is just for kind of faking it or something that's non-authentic, I don't love it because I really believe brands want authenticity, and you know that too.
Yeah, I think it just seems a little like just not credible, I think, and it makes it seem like it's this big phenomenon where, yeah, like you said, it's supposed to be genuine. So I don't really know how I feel about that, but besides that, Jake and Tana invites. What were the invites? I don't remember.
I think they were posters.
Didn't you got one, right?
I know. It's crazy that I'm here shooting this with you and not at their wedding.
Priorities.
No, I know some people who are going, and honestly, I'll say it, I'm jealous. But I'm hoping they just throw a large rager at some point in the future to celebrate. I honestly, and I know so many people are going to disagree with me, but like, I think they're so perfect for each other. I really do.
I kind of agree with that. And like, I don't, why do I feel that way?
Because they both just want to do crazy stuff and fun stuff and the max of everything. Like everything's extravagant, everything's wild, everything's fun. And I think that's why they captivate so many viewers, right? Like everything is just so to the max. And I think both of them have that same belief. And whether you like them or don't, I don't think you can really argue with the fact that that's the motto for them.
Yeah.
Like, let's just take it there. Send it across the globe, as my good friend Scarlett would say.
So, kind of controversial, but in the celebrity world, there are a lot of like couples that get together for PR, and a lot of fans speculate that it is for PR. It's to promote a movie that they're in or a new album, whatnot. Do you think influencers do that as well, where they get in couples together for PR? Like, for example, maybe like this is for Tana's MTV show, or I don't know. It just seems like it happens so fast, and hey, it may be real, but let's talk about like influencer couples as PR.
Right. I don't know. I would venture to say that it happens more in the traditional world than not, because I think it's the publicist's idea, probably. But I think it happens to a degree. But I don't know. I think nowadays, Tana has her whole army of fans that are going to do and watch and, be a part of everything that she participates in. Jake the same, others the same. So I'm not really sure it is for the show or things like that. But I do think, right, there's something about an influencer couple or a digital couple, right, that just draws eyeballs. You're so intrigued and you can't really explain why, right?
Fans get so involved. They'll like comment on the photos and be like, #goals. Like, oh my God, there'll be fan accounts for the couple. Like it's a huge thing. People get so involved. And I feel like it's even more so in the influencer realm than it is the celebrity realm, because you see so much more of their lives on like in YouTube videos, on Instagram. Like influencers obviously share more because it's their job, so people get even more involved and they feel like they're like a part of the couple, which is a little weird, but yeah, it's crazy.
What do you think about like the fans that get really attached, right? The fans that let's just use the example of the folks who are going to make fan accounts for a couple.
Yeah.
Right? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, let's talk about like David and Liza. Like obviously they both have strong followings, and then together it was just like, oh my God, David and Liza all the way, get married, have kids. Like people were on board, but there's so much that happens behind the scenes. Like you don't know how they are as a couple. Like, I don't know. People were so on board. I feel like the fans were just as heartbroken when they broke up.
I'm not going to lie to you. I cried. I cried during the video.
Oh my God.
It was hard for me to watch them cry.
I know.
I don't know. It just hit me because you could tell that was so real.
Oh, so real.
There was nothing fake about that. You could tell that was so real. But I mean, I think it is interesting to have. I mean, other than my friends and family, can't relate to the idea of having fans, right? And so, as much as I joke about it, but I think there's something to be said of like being an influencer in general. Let's take the couple out of it, like. Mm-hmm. Having fans is so much pressure.
Totally.
Like I have friends who do this kind of stuff or do digital,
we see it every day. Like, yeah.
It is, and it's part of our work. It's everything. Like fans are so integral to the buying power and to watching the videos and giving feedback and anything like that. They're so a part of each influencer's journey. However, the burden on the influencer, knowing that you have fans and followers and viewers of all ages, is so much pressure. I mean, there are really, really young kids watching right on their parents' phones and tablets, and older folks that are, maybe going through different things. Like, you just never know. And I think the burden, I give so much props to really any creator, because there is such a burden having eyeballs on you, and you're just putting things out there, right? Most people get that kind of big following from being themselves, right? Whether they turn into something else or not, they get that from being themselves. So having that many eyeballs is just such a burden, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I feel like that's why a lot of influencers, I mean, even celebrities as well, they have these secret relationships, and all of a sudden someone's engaged and you're like, I didn't even know you were dating anyone, but sure. It's just because people get so involved and they have their own opinions on how the relationship works. And yeah, I get it. It's also like a safety thing. Like, I just can't imagine. I think I would make my relationship private if I ever were in that position. What do you think?
Yeah, if I was ever in that position, 100%. But eventually, it's hard because you want to share it, especially with let's assume the fans and followers that are just there as friends, right? I think of so many, every time I've ever talked to like a fan of a creator, I'll walk into sometimes some meet and greet lines and just ask like, oh, what, why are you here? Like, what are you so excited about? Mm-hmm. And the common consensus I get at really any convention, any event is always, they're my friend. I feel like they're my best friend. And that really, like, it touches me on a deeper level. And I use this in any anecdote I ever can about fans and followers of, digital creators, is like, they're their friends. So even if they're marketing to them or, it's a couple, whether you're telling them you're in a relationship or real, fake, anything like that, like, Those are their friends. So when you lose the trust, that's why it's so much deeper. That's why if you're breaking up, it's so much deeper because they feel for you like a friend.
Yeah. And I guess, sorry, you can hear Nelson. I guess kind of like on the other end, we said we would kind of make these relationships private. I just think of the example of like Jenna and Julian, where literally their whole business is them being online. They do like streaming together. They have their own separate channels. They share their lives, their dogs. Like it is very public, and I'm sure that they get comments all the time, like telling them stuff about the relationship that they don't want to hear. Like I can't imagine that amount of pressure. I don't know. It's just wild because you can have someone who's very, very secretive, and then you have someone who is showing literally almost everything online.
Going on to the Jenna and Julian thing in a positive bit about influencer couples, I love them.
Oh yeah, I love them.
And I love seeing digital creators find their perfect match.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It makes my heart so warm, right? That's why I think everyone was so devastated with David and Liza, because you felt such a natural chemistry between them. But Jenna and Julian, like watching them tie-dye Crocs together was when I was really convinced. And I know that was fairly recent, but it just makes my heart so warm to see, like, you can tell they love each other no matter what. They're the same yet totally different, right? Because the whole joke is, right, that he's an Aries, and he's like, why? Me too, also. Like, we are very similar to Jenna and Julian. But I love, I think that's the fun part of being a fan, right? Like, is, moving the pressure away from how do the creators themselves feel. As a fan and a follower, it's so fun to see them be happy and see them find their perfect person, and seeing them when they just got their new dog that they had rescued, and it's a lot of work with, I think, the new dog. I don't know all the details, so I don't want to talk on it, but I do think that just really warms my heart to see really
just kind of being on that
folks.
journey. Yeah, that's kind of similar. I watched this girl over in the UK. Her name is Katie Snooks, and I've watched her for a couple years now. She initially started helping like Louise Pentland with her videos, and then had her own channel as well, and finally like blew up and whatnot. So I love her because like a couple years ago, she went through like a really, really hard time, like was engaged to get married. They broke off the engagement. And I like felt for her. Like she was very upset. She did a whole series about, it was called like Dates with Kate, where it was talking about her dating experiences. She was like 30, I believe. And she was just talking about her dating experiences and how rough it was. And she was just so heartbroken, felt really hopeless. Fast forward a couple months, and she just moved into a new place with this guy who's like perfect for her. And I'm just so happy. Like I've met her once briefly for like a minute, but I feel like I know her, and I'm just so happy like for her and her journey. It's crazy how attached we get. We're attached.
I know. It's really, it's an interesting game, especially like the breakups, right? I think it's an interesting thought of like the breakups of the folks that you didn't feel were a natural fit. Like what, like when you have to sit there and be like, do you take sides? Like what? Like
do I unfollow someone?
I mean, like what do I do? The stress. I mean,
yeah.
That's I think what was so like different between David and Liza's and every other influencer couple that may have broken up. That I mean, they were the exception, right? You're obsessed with both of them, and I think everyone can stand with like they're both really, really great people. But then you look at the folks. Well, can't give any examples. I don't want to get myself targeted. But, there are those people that you're like, wow, one's clearly more of a brat, or one's clearly more, I don't know,
you kind of
selfish.
saw it coming.
Like, what, you know what I mean? You saw it coming, and then it's just an awkward divide, and then they have to address it for the next year.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, also my thing is, like, how much is too much time, or what is the right time to put your relationship in public, right?
Right.
What's that timeline look like? Like, we could say all we want that we wouldn't want to, but the reality is folks usually have to, because then you have fans, you can't, let's say you go to VidCon. You want to bring your significant other. They will see you.
And fans are smart. They kind of catch on if they see someone hanging around someone. Like, they kind of put two and two together. They do an immense amount of stalking.
I do want to address the hysterical thing of when fans like totally ship people or think that they're dating and they're totally not.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things. Like I will see that all the time with people where I personally know for a fact people are like not together, and just every time I'll look at a creator's comments, it's always like you and this person, you and this person, you and this person. I'm like, if you guys only knew they, like, whether it's like they don't like each other or they're just friends, like I wish you knew that, or like you just want to scream at them and be like, they're dating someone totally different. Why are you talking about this? But you just have to like let it ride. I just don't know.
Kind of going back to the thing of like, when is the right time to announce about your significant other? There's this YouTuber I watched. I'm not gonna name her name. If you watch her, you would know.
I think our listeners are gonna really love that we pick when to name names. It's gonna be really fun for everyone.
But I think she waited a bit to kind of like introduce her boyfriend to YouTube. I think he was more so like on Instagram. Finally introduced him to YouTube. Was in a couple of videos. All good. Recently she got cheated on.
Devastating.
Yeah, this girl like DM'd her and was like, hey, I went to find so-and-so on Instagram to follow him. And I saw that, he had a girlfriend and like we had hooked up and like all this stuff. Yeah, it was not good. I mean, she made a video about it and it has like 2 million views. So good for her.
I don't know who this is, but I want to know. Tell me after this.
I'll tell you after. If you know, you know. But yeah, it's just like you announce that, you show that part of your life to the world. And then now you have to like take it back and show a whole different side where you're vulnerable and upset and like angry at this person.
If you had to, so let's assume you have to take your relationship public.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm like, oh, hypothetical, you're a creator, which
so like me and Niall, right?
You literally are a creator.
Right.
Mackenzie Vlogs, go follow on YouTube. Wow, God. I plugged. She hates me.
Wow.
She literally hates me, but it's fine. If you have to put a timeline on it, like how long? Sure, you and Niall are dating. How long do you give?
Well, first I would see if he would want to be comfortable on camera.
Let's say yes.
Okay, yes. If he's like really passionate about being in the vlogs, wants to help me film, like all that good stuff. You know, like some people...
Niall tours the world. I don't know if he has time for this.
Like some people don't really care about that. Other people really want to support their significant other in like filming and editing and being an Instagram husband, that good stuff.
That's a whole episode. I think we need to do an episode on Instagram, like the Instagram
There's a podcast
husbands.
called Instagram Husbands.
Oh my God, then we're not going to cover it. Everyone go listen to that, but also ours. Okay,
yes.
Keep going.
Oh my gosh, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, so I would wait probably between 6 months to a year, depending on how comfortable they are. I would probably drop hints to my audience just so they know, so it doesn't like hit them in the face.
Right.
If I felt comfortable and I felt like this was going to be a long-term thing, then I would. If it was like a short, like, I don't really know about you, then I probably wouldn't.
So 6 months to a year for the right person.
Correct.
Bold.
What about you?
I would really keep it as private as I could for as long as I could.
Yeah.
I like to keep people on their toes. Like, my favorite thing is when, like, people I haven't talked to for years will just assume I'm dating someone because they're on my Instagram feed or, like, whatever. Right. And just read into captions way too much.
Hard. Yeah.
Like, you put something of, like, I don't know, it's 4:00 on a Sunday. And then all of a sudden they're like, wow, did you see that she hangs out with him on weekends? It's just like, what? Like, it's so random. But yeah, I think the 6 months to a year, I think that makes sense. But I don't know. It's like if you love them and you think it's forever. But right, people think if you're dating them long enough, you do think it's forever, like almost every time. So yeah. I'm unclear.
It's crazy. This whole thing.
I can't wait till you do this, Mackenzie.
Oh my gosh.
I can't wait to fill everyone in on how long you wait.
I would love to be like a family vlogger. Are you kidding? That's my dream.
We have a friend who wants to be a family vlogger. It's all he wants.
Oh. Tea. But we'd love to know your opinions. Go ahead and tweet us, Instagram, DM us, do all that good stuff.
Yeah, Instagram, DM us. DM us nice things.
Please, things.
There's so many DMs I read that are just so weird that I'd rather not have to handle.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please subscribe. That would be amazing. Leave a comment down below. I think we're also going to have this on Spotify, hopefully.
Wow.
If not, SoundCloud. I don't know.
It's going to be on some kind of distribution
We're working it out, But go ahead and follow us, support us. We're super excited about the episodes to come. So kind of wrapping this up, we have a segment called like content recommendations.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but before we get into that, I would just like to say that Mackenzie asked me to limit my cussing. And I did successfully.
She did. You said stuff. I appreciated that.
I just want the audience to know that
gosh.
I really worked at it. Now you can continue with our last segment.
All right. Anyway, so we probably need a name for this. Any recommendations would be great, but it's called content recommendations, and it's any piece of content: a song, a movie, a TV show, a podcast, a book, a YouTube series, anything like that. Just recommend it to our audience. Would you like to have your recommendation first?
Sure.
All right.
No, you go first.
No, it's okay. You can go.
No, you go.
I don't remember. Oh, go ahead.
Everyone's like, wow, annoying.
We argue.
But we're also the same. It's fun. Okay, my content recommendation is going to be the K&J Reality House series.
Kian and JC.
Kian and JC for long. I kind of blurred those together. Kian and JC.
Yes.
They basically, kind of short background, they're doing kind of a Big Brother styled long format 10 episode every Friday at 12 Pacific time.
We love consistency.
Format. I think because Kian's gone shooting a show and it's the whole thing. But basically what I think is so amazing about this is after watching it for 2 episodes, it's so well done. And they're getting a lot of press for it and things like that, which is well deserved. And I just think it's something that everyone should be watching because it's not about the people that are in the show or K&J or anything like that. I think it's just, I want to say, almost like a historical moment to be like, wow, this is something that isn't like an actual YouTube premium show or any of those. Like, this is one that's just running on their channel. I think yesterday or maybe a couple days ago when they put this out, they had like the second episode had like 1 million views in under 24 hours, which was huge.
Yeah.
For them. not to throw shade, but like really big for them.
So good.
So I think everyone should kind of watch and just, because then you could say, like you saw one of the first, because I'm sure people are going to kind of do this after them. And it's really kind of captivating. And some of my favorite people are on there. I'm rooting for some of our friends.
Yeah, so I'm like a huge fan of Big Brother, so it's cool to see kind of the YouTube version of this. If I could be on any reality TV show, it would be Big Brother. Just saying. Oh my God, I love Big Brother. I could have my own podcast about Big Brother. I won't, but I do listen to podcasts about Big Brother.
Wow.
Anyway, the season is kind of whatever. Besides that. Yes, we just watched the first episode of it, and I just watched the first episode.
Yeah, I was like, don't tell them I lied. I've watched both.
And it's amazing to see that they're doing this with one editor, a couple camera people. Like, Big Brother in itself has like 1 million cameramen, and obviously it's a huge production. It's on CBS, all that good stuff. But just seeing like a YouTube version of it and how well they're doing, like, it's really good. I was impressed. It was pretty good.
They're doing a great job. Congrats, guys.
Congrats.
Can't wait to watch the rest of it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
My friends that are on that show, I'm rooting for you.
We love. So kind of going with the theme of influencer couples.
Big.
More so couples.
Wow.
My content recommendation is Love Island.
Wow.
So I started watching Love Island when I was over in the UK, and everyone was talking about it, and I was like, I have to watch it. Haven't really watched it since that one season, and then I binge watched 2 seasons of it. Seasons 1 and 2 of the UK version. Now there's a US version.
It's good. I actually watched a couple episodes of the US one.
It's not as good, I think, as the UK, but...
Mackenzie's stirring the pot.
No, it's just, it's different,
Ariel hosts it.
That's true. That's another point.
An influencer that hosts.
Influencers
We'll
hosting.
get into that later, but she hosted. She's awesome. And I think, it's a good show. I haven't watched much of the British one. British? Yeah,
British?
The British.
UK?
I don't know, the UK one, whatever.
It's just the stuff they say is just so funny in the UK.
It's kind of wild. I don't know.
It's
But
pretty wild.
go watch these shows. They're good. And I think you can watch part of the Love Island US you're recommending the UK version, right?
The UK version is on Hulu, and then the one that's going now, they're uploading the episodes on CBS.
Oh.
And then the UK version that's going now is also on Hulu.
And I was going to say the US version, episode 1 is on YouTube, which is interesting enough. We need a whole episode on the shows, like Tana shows on YouTube, not even regular MTV, a whole thing. But we'll save that for another day.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening. If you have any comments, thoughts, questions, ideas, recommendations, anything and everything, let us know. DM us, message us, comment it, whatever platform you're listening to this on. please subscribe, follow, anything like that. And we're excited to keep rolling these out. Mac and I are really passionate about like sharing kind of our thoughts and feedback on any of this, and we want everyone to know that it's really said with like the most positivity at heart, and not to ever critique anyone, and we're just kind of sharing our thoughts.
Yeah, we love this space and we love to talk about it. It's what we live and breathe. So
It's our livelihood, literally.
Honestly. Where can people find you? Twitter, Instagram?
Oh, people can find me on Instagram at Elana Moline. I have my full name handle, big for me.
Stunning.
I don't know, Twitter, something like that. That's where you can find me.
Yeah, sure.
I think Twitter's like Elana Nicole 18, something like that.
Doesn't even know her username.
I know, it's kind of my personal diary. Don't find my Twitter. Or find it, I don't know. Matt, where can they find you? At Mackenzie Vlogs on YouTube.
All right. On Instagram, it's mackenzie.oaks, and on Twitter, it's just Mackenzie Oaks. Lovely.
You don't want to put a dot in there for consistency?
You can't on Twitter.
Wow, big. Okay.
She's a fake fan. She doesn't know Twitter rules.
I do follow you, though.
She does.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much, and tune in, I guess, next week.
Yeah, next week.
And you will hear all the tea.
All the tea. The tea is to come. I love this for us. No, okay, we need to work on that, but that was pretty good.
All right, bye, guys.
Okay, bye.